Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome everyone. So we are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are we discussed last time the wonderful pastimes of Krishna when he was given the charge of the cows, and how so many pastimes he performed, and how when Krishna would return from the forest, he would be welcomed by all the gopis and mother Yashoda and Rohini. They would uh, bathe him and they would massage Krishna and Balram. They would feed him nice foods, nice sumptuous dishes, and that's how Krishna would take go to rest. Then after this, Shukdev Goswami described a story that once when Krishna he went to the forest without Balram because that was the birthday of Balram again. That day also, because Balram was not there. So Krishna went far away in the forest along with the cows and the cowherd boys, and the cows and the boys they drank the water from the lake in Yamuna, and the water was poisonous, and because of that they all were dead. Krishna, when he saw, he revived all these children and the cows back. So after this, when Shukdev Goswami he said this, you know, Parikshit Maharaj he got a query. So Parikshit Maharaj told Shukdev Goswami told that Krishna he banished Kaliya from Yamuna, and because he wanted to purify Yamuna because of the poison of Kaliya, the whole Yamuna, the lake within Yamuna was poisoned. So Krishna banished Kaliya. So when Parikshit Maharaj he heard this, so he asked a question: Katham antarjale gadhe nyagrihणाद भगवान हिम सवय बहु युगावासम यथा सीत विप्रकथ्यताम. So he asked, O Vipra, O great Brahmana, please tell me the secret behind this story. How Katham, how the Supreme Personality of Godhead punished this great serpent who was living in the waters of Yamuna. And how is it that this Kalia was staying in this lake for so many ages? Please tell me the reason for this. Brahman Bhagavatastasya Bhumna Swachandavartinah Gopalodar Charitam Kastrapyetamritam jusham. So now Parikshit Maharaj expresses his eagerness to hear Hari Katha. He said, O Brahman, O great Brahmana, the Supreme Personality, acts, he is free to act according to his desires. He has no uh, obligations. And that Supreme Lord, he acts in many ways. So when he performed pastimes as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, they are so very attractive. And nobody can be satisfied hearing Hari Katha. So please tell me more of this Hari Katha. को नाम तृप्येत रसवित् कथायां महत्तमैकान्तपरायणस्य नान्तं गुणानामगुणस्य जग्मो योगेश्वराये भवपाद्ममुख्यः. Ko Nam Tripyet, who can be satisfied drinking this nectar of Harikatha? Then Harikatha is such a wonderful nectar that nobody can get satisfied drinking it, and one will get satisfied only by drinking it. That is interesting thing about Harikatha. None of the things of the world can satisfy the heart. Only Krishna Katha can satisfy the heart. And the wonderful nature of Krishna Katha is, however you hear, you will not feel satiated. You will not feel satisfied. You want to hear more and more. Kastripniyati ritapadobhidhana satreshu vasuribhiridyamana yat karnanadim purushasya yato bhavapradam geharatim chinati. Kastripnuyat, who can be satisfied hearing Harikatha? When this Harikatha enters the ears, Yat karna nadim purushasya yato, when this Harikatha enters the ears, bhavapradam geharati chinati. So the attachment to the family life, which is a cause of material existence, will go away. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is telling, O Shukdev Goswami, please tell me the reason for, please tell me the whole story. So then when Parikshit Maharaj, he requested in this way, because Shukdev Goswami had summarized the whole thing, whole pastime in just one verse. There was a reason for it. When we hear Harikatha, we hear from an outsider point of view. So many times we don't get involved, we don't enter the pastimes, so we don't get affected. We don't experience the emotions. But Parikshit Maharaj is not that type of hearer. He was actually in the Harikatha. So Shukdev Goswami, he did not want to disturb Parikshit Maharaj, and therefore he just summarized the whole thing in one verse. But Parikshit, he had a desire to hear in detail. So therefore, Shukdev Goswami starts the story. He said, within this Yamuna river, there was a lake which was inhabited by serpent Kalia. So this lake, it was a very huge lake. And it is said, Chakravarti Thakur writes that this lake was 1 yojana wide, 8 miles. 1 yojana wide, very huge lake, and it was very, very deep. And this lake, it was inhabited by Kalia. And Kalia, because he was such a poisonous snake, because of his fiery poison, entire lake was contaminated. And because of the heat of the poison, the water would boil on the surface. You could see the bubbles coming out. That was the powerful poison which this Kalia was emitting. So this lake, it was so very huge and deep, and it was, Chakravarti Thakur writes that it was not directly in the uh, current, in the flow of Yamuna river. So Yamuna, the currents of Yamuna did not flow to this lake directly. So therefore, although this lake was completely poisoned, but the other places where Yamuna was flowing, it was not contaminated. In fact, this lake was so very poisoned that when a bird would fly over this lake, just because of the vapors, the bird would fall unconscious in that lake. Because of the poisoned water, whenever wind would blow, wind would carry the poisoned droplets to the shore, and because of that, all the vegetation and nearby animals on the shore, they all were dead. Nobody could survive. Even 8 miles far, the effect of this river poison was there. Even 8 miles. And because of the poison, the color of the water had changed to reddish yellow. And that's what it was, so very fiery that fumes would come and fog would be created. The fog would be also very, very poisonous. And Sanatana Goswami writes that, this Kalia, he knew the art of Jalastambhan. Jalastambhan is a mystic art by which you could make water into solid. And that's how Kalia, he had created a huge palatial city underwater. And he was staying with his wives and children and with other associates, other snakes, very nicely. So when Krishna, he reached this place, he saw that the Yamuna water it was polluted. So Lord, he decided to subdue this demon, is Kalia, and to purify the Yamuna. So with this thought in the mind, he climbed on the Kadamba tree and he tightened his waist belt and he slapped his arms like this and prepared himself for fight, and he jumped into the water. So so he so Chakravarti Thakur writes that how is it that this Kadamba tree survived? Because Krishna, when climbed the Kadamba tree was there alive, it was not dead. Actually, when in the ancient time there was a fight which happened between Kadru and Vinata. So Kadru is the mother of all the snakes, and Vinata is the mother of all the birds, headed by Garuda. So both one time they had a bet. Kadru said, the horses, the tail of the horses of sun god is black. And Vinata said, no, 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 it is white. So Kadru said, okay, what if the tail is black? So Vinata said, I will become your servant. And what if tail is white? Kadru said, okay, I will become your servant. So then there was a bet. Kalia, he heard this and he knew the tail of the horses of the chariot of Surya is white. So he went and he wrapped himself around the tail of the horse. And then when it was told that okay, actually the tail is black, so Vinata had to become the servant of Kadru, and that's how she was serving Kadru as a servant. Garuda, he did not like it. He went to Indra, and so actually he went to his stepmother. He went to Kadru and he requested, please release my mother. I will do whatever you say. So Kadru, she said, okay, if you are ready to give me in return something, then I want nectar for my sons. You go to heaven and get nectar. So Garuda, he was very, very powerful. He went straight up to heaven and he snatched away the nectar pot and he was coming. So Indra, he understood that I cannot do anything in front of Garuda because he is the eternal carrier of Lord. So he requested Garuda that, oh Garuda, if you give this poison to the snakes, it will be very, very disastrous. So Garuda said, look, I have to fulfill the promise. I have to release my mother. So he said, I will give the nectar to Kadru and then you can snatch it away again. So the deal was done. And Garuda was coming down. On the way, he stopped once in Vrindavan area and he put this pot of nectar on this Kadamba tree, and few drops of this nectar fell on that tree. That's how the tree was not affected by the poison of Kalia. And also tree, that Kadamba, the tree knew that in future Krishna will come and I will get a chance to have the dust of Krishna on my head. So therefore, in this expectation, that tree was still alive. So Krishna, he jumped into the river and he began sporting like a lordly elephant, and he was moving around and he was with his hands, he was creating waves and he was swirling and he was making sounds. And when it is described then when Krishna jumped, it created such a huge sound that Kalia, he heard all these sounds which were coming, and he understood that somebody has trespassed my area, and serpent he could not tolerate, and he came out to see. So Kadamba tree is a very wonderful tree. You can see still it has very nice flowers. Kadamba, you know, it is one of the favorite trees of Krishna. So Kadamba tree is a very favorite tree with round flowers. So when Krishna he jumped and Kalia he came out to see who has trespassed. So Shukdev Goswami, taking the mood of the Brajvasis, he is lamenting for the situation there, because what Kalia did, when Kalia he came out, he saw the beauty of Krishna. Tam prekshaniya sukumar ghanavadatam श्रीवत्सपीतवसनं स्मितसुन्दरास्यं क्रीडान्तम् अप्रतिभयं कमलोदराङ्घ्रिं सन्दश्य मर्मसुदृशा bhujaya chashada. When this Kalia first saw Krishna, he became attracted by the beauty of Krishna. Prekshaniya, the beauty of Krishna was worth seeing. Prekshaniya. Krishna was very attractive to look. He had a very delicate bodily features. Sukumar, very delicate. Ghanavadatam, and he was having a complexion of cloud. And he was wearing a beautiful yellow garment, Shrivatsa. He had a Shrivatsa symbol on his chest. Pita Vasasam, Smith Sundarasim, and he was smiling. He was making various facial gestures just to agitate Kalia. He was smiling. And he was playing in so many ways in the waters of this lake that Kalia he became all the more angry. Fearless. He was fearlessly playing in the water. And when Kalia he saw this, immediately he rushed towards Krishna and he bit him on his chest. Furiously he bit him. And then he completely enwrapped Krishna in his coils. So Shukdev Goswami, when he's saying all this, he is also becoming really anxious. And then there were some cowherd boys who were nearby tending the calves and the cows. Some elderly men were also there. Hearing all these commotion, they came to this place, and when they saw, they were they were devastated. Kalia, when he enwrapped Krishna in his coils, Krishna was thinking, okay, I will increase the fighting spirit of this Kalia. Let him do whatever he want. So he was thinking, Krishna was saying, oh Kalia, you try first, You try first to bite me, squeeze me. पहले try कर लो जो करना है. Later I will show my powers. You know. So with that mode, Krishna was in the coils, appearing paralyzed. He was motionless. And when the cowherd men they came to this place and they saw Krishna in the coils of Kalia, for them Krishna was their everything. They had dedicated their Yadham, Arth, Surit, Priya, Atma, Tanaya, Pranashaya Stvatkrite. They had given up their life itself, their home, children, family, wealth, wives, all pleasures. Krishna was their everything. And when they saw Krishna in the coils of Kalia, they were completely disturbed and they could not tolerate. They became unconscious. Their minds became completely blank. Their intelligence became deranged because of the grief. They fell to the ground unconscious. Then there were calves and the cows, the bulls. Some calves and the cows, some cows and the cowherd boys, they already were unconscious. But because it was a huge group, other cows, the bulls, they were back in the back. So when they reached this place and when they saw Krishna in this situation, they also started crying piteously in loud voices. They started calling piteously to Krishna. And after some time, they just became stunned. They stood still in fear. They could not even make any noise. They could not even cry. They wanted to cry, but they were not able to cry. They were so very shocked. And Jiva Goswami says that actually there were some buffaloes also. There were other animals of the forest, the deers, the peacocks. They also came running to this place. For everybody in Vrindavan, Krishna was their everything. When they saw Krishna in this position, they all became stunned. Motionless, they stood there. And then when demigods, they saw this, they also, entered into the mood of the Brajavasis and they wanted to increase the mood of separation of the Brajavasis. So, three different inauspicious omens were manifested by these devatas. There were earthquakes. In the sky, there were meteors falling. The left side of the body started twitching. So, it was all done by the devata in charge of the earthquakes so that the mood of the Brajvasis could be enhanced, the mood of separation. When all the inhabitants of Gokul they saw all these inauspicious omens, immediately, whenever anything happens in Vrindavan, first thought is, where is Krishna? How is he? Is he in danger? So when Nand Maharaj and all the other cowherd men, when they saw all these inauspicious omens, they understood, oh, Krishna has gone alone without Balram. Balram is the one who is intelligent, more powerful, and he is always there to protect his brother. But today Krishna has gone alone. They were unaware of the power of Krishna. They were not knowing who is this Krishna. For them, for Brajvasis, Krishna was their small child. And when they saw all these inauspicious omens, they concluded that Krishna must have died. Nidhanam. So the word used is Nidhanam. So Jiva Goswami says actually Nidhanam can mean death also, and Nidhanam can also mean Nitaram Dhanam. Krishna was their greatest treasure, and therefore they became so very anxious. All the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they came out with the thoughts of Krishna. The cows they were thinking of Krishna. All the even the calves, they were thinking of Krishna. With just one thought in their mind, they rushed out of the village of Vrindavan. Where to find Krishna? They wanted to find Krishna. As they were running, some people were stumbling, falling down, again getting up, becoming unconscious. They were crying tears. It was a complete, disaster for Vrindavan Brajvasis. They were greedy to find Krishna. Where is he? How is he? And as they are running, Balram, he is smiling. He is the only one personality who is smiling in all this scenario. तांस्तथा कातरान् वीक्ष्य भगवान् माधवो बलः प्रहस्य किञ्चिन्नोवाच प्रभवज्ञो अनुजस्येह. So Balram, he was aware of the Prabhavagya. Prabhavagya means he was aware of the power of his brother Anujasya. So he was not at least disturbed. When he saw all the Brajvasis, they were so very Kataran Vikshya, they were in such distress. Bhagwan Madhavo Bala. Balram is called as Madhava. Madhava means he is the master of all the intelligence and he is master of all the power. Madhavo Bala. He understood that this is the Leela Shakti of the Lord who is working. Prahasya Kinchin. He smiled. He didn't say anything. Na uvacha. He didn't say anything. He just smiled because he understood Krishna must Krishna wants to do some pastime. So I should not interfere in this. Prahasya Kinchinno Vacha. Prabhavagya Anujasya. He knew the power of his brother. So therefore, he just smiled. And you know why Balram smiled? Chakravarti Thakur says Balram was thinking, Krishna, he never plays with me in the form of my, in the form of my snake. But Krishna is playing with the ordinary material snake like this Kalia. It's such an amusing thing. So Balram is smiling. Prabhupada writes, purport, it is described that why Balram and Krishna allowed their devotees to suffer in this way. There is a reason. For us, this may look suffering, but on a spiritual platform, this is the highest ecstasy of Vipralamba. So therefore, we cannot understand with our material mindset what is the ecstasy, what is the uh, emotion of having a feeling of becoming separated, the Vipralamba. So therefore, the whole point should be seen from spiritual point of view, not from material. So all the residents of Brindavan, they were running. The residents, when they came out of the village, they started searching. So now how to find Krishna? They started searching for the footprints of Krishna. Somebody may say, but Krishna was there with so many cows and the cowherd boys. Did anyone, didn't not step on this footsteps, the marks of Krishna's footprints? Shukdev Goswami and Chakravarti Thakur writes that actually everyone in Vrindavan, they were aware. They knew that Krishna is our master. And therefore, very carefully, all the cowherd boys, all the cows, all the calves, and all the residents of Vrindavan, nobody would step on the footprints of Krishna. So, as the residents of Vrindavan, Brajvasis, they were running to find the footprints of Krishna. This day, Krishna wanted to enhance these feelings, so he did not go straight. He went through many forests this day, and many times he went to the places which were full of grass. So there was no sand. So the Brajvasis, they were not able to find footprints. They were really desperately searching for the footprints of Krishna. And somehow they reached this place where Krishna was in the coils of Kalia. After a long, long search, they reached this place. What was happening? What happened to the Brajvasis, the Gopas, and the elderly Gopis? Shukdev Goswami describes. When all these Brajvasis they saw Krishna motionless in the coils of Kalia, the boys they saw the boys they were unconscious and the animals they were standing stunned. They wanted to cry but they were not able to cry. When they saw this situation, they themselves became so much overwhelmed, even more overwhelmed than the animals. And in this situation, they asked the boys, "Arey, what happened? Did Krishna jump on his own in this river, or did Kalia catch him? Was he playing something? What happened actually? Was that his own plan, Krishna's own plan, or somebody else's plan?" So they were asking the boys, "How did this happen? Why Krishna land? How Krishna landed there?" The boys also wanted to tell, but they were so very shocked. Their minds had stopped functioning. They could not say anything. They just stood there, helpless, stunned. Then the young gopis, they also reached this place. When they saw their beloved Krishna in the coils of Kalia, they remembered their loving friendship, the loving speeches of Krishna, the loving dealings they would have with Krishna in the forest of Vrindavan. In this way, they were burning with great sorrow. They just cried tears. For them, the entire universe was shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. Entire universe was void. Then what was happening to Mother Yashoda? So as Shukdev Goswami is describing all these emotions of Brajvasis, he is also overcome with grief. He is also becoming very sad. And he described little bit about the situation of Mother Yashoda, and he described in detail the situation of other women, other gopis. So when the elderly gopis, along with Mother Yashoda, they reached this place, Mother Yashoda, she fell unconscious. Seeing Krishna in the coils of Kalia, she would get up and then she would call out to Krishna, and she was just wanting to enter the water, enter this lake. All the elderly gopis they would catch Mother Yashoda somehow. They would pacify Mother Yashoda. Start they started remembering the pastimes of Krishna. They were saying, "Oh Mother Yashoda, oh Yashoda, please don't cry, don't lament. Don't you remember when Krishna was a small child, Putana came, and because of the mercy of the Lord, that Putana was killed. Don't you know the power of your son? Trinavar, such a small boy, he killed such a great demon. So be rest assured. What is this one rascal snake in front of these great demons? Very soon he'll be killed and Krishna will return. Don't worry." Jiva Goswami describes what is the position, what is the mindset of gopis as they were telling all this, but they were also lamenting. They were also so very sad and sorrowful. They were thinking, what is the use of all this? We all should enter the lake. We cannot go back to Vrindavan without Krishna. If Krishna is not coming back, we will also enter the lake. What is the use of a day without a sun? What is the use of a night without a moon? What is the use of living without Krishna? And they were saying, without Krishna, this entire world is incomplete. And in this way, they were lamenting. And they were saying that, how can somebody live without Krishna? So we will also die here. We are not going to go back. So that is also that. These are all the thoughts of these elderly gopis. So when Balram he saw all these cowherd boys and the elderly gopas and the gopis lamenting, then he saw Nand Maharaj is about to enter the water. He caught hold of Nand Maharaj and the other men also. So some men he is trying to hold by telling, some of them he is catching physically, and some of them he is just smiling, is glancing on them, he is just telling them to stop. And Nand Maharaj he is so very desperate. Balram he fully knew the powers of his brother, so therefore he restrained all these cowherd boys and cowherd men because, and Balram he was telling to Nand Maharaj and all the other cowherd men, if you enter this water and you die, and you know earlier Krishna has killed so many of the demons and he was saved. So now after Krishna kills the snake and he comes out of the water and he will not find any of you, who will take care of my little brother? Who will, take care of his all the needs? So with all these words, Balram was pacifying all these Brajvasis. That was the reasoning of Balram. Krishna, he was there in the coils of Kalia for 2 hours. All the while, he was just motionless. He was there. Like an ordinary person, he was just lying there in the coils of Kalia. And when Krishna, he saw all the Brajvasis in acute distress, then he realized, if I delay any further, these people will die. They will give up their life. Saying this, thinking this, he, broke away, broke free from the coils of Kalia. Why he waited so long? 2 ghanta, 2 hours. Just because Krishna was thinking, now I'm going to do a performance. So more audience means more fun. So he was waiting for all of them to come. So when all the people, all the Brajvasis they had come, then Krishna realized, and then he also saw that now, if I don't come out of the coils, they will die. So therefore he came out. And then how Krishna came out? He started expanding his body. And when Kalia he saw that, oh, Krishna is expanding, he tried to hold him, but he was tormented because of the expansion of the Lord, and ultimately Kalia released Krishna. But he was so very angry. His eyes were like blazing fire. He raised his hoods, he was breathing very heavily, his breath was full of poison. He was emitting fire. He was staring at the eyes, staring at the face of Krishna very angrily. And immediately he rushed towards Krishna, and again he was licking his lips with his bifurcated tongue. He was trying to catch Krishna again, but Krishna, he was moving so fast that Kalia, he was not able to catch Krishna. And just like a Garuda plays with a snake, Krishna was playing with Kalia. He was running around. He was having a good time in waters. And Kalia, he was having a tough time just chasing Krishna with an opportunity to bite him. And then ultimately, after moving for a long time, Krishna, he thought, now okay, the stage is set, everybody has come. Now he decided to dance. Evam paribhramaha taujasham unnatamsham anamya tatpritushirasu adhirudha adyah तन्मूर्धरत्न निकर स्पर्शाति ताम्र पादाम्बुजो अखिल कलादि गुरोर्ननर्तः. Akhil Kaladi Guru Nanartaha. Who is Krishna? Krishna is the original master of all the fine arts. He started dancing. Evam Paribhrama. Because now it was a long time this serpent was chasing Krishna. Paribhrama. Hatao Jasha. The serpent Kalia became tired of chasing Krishna. And Kalia, he had very high shoulders, he had raised his hoods. But Anamya, Krishna pushed the heads of Kalia down. He mounted on his shoulders, and he, when he mounted on his shoulders, he started dancing. The heads of Kalia, they were having very wonderful jewels, and Krishna's feet is very soft because so therefore when Krishna was dancing on the hoods of Kalia, the because of the constant touch of the soft feet with this hard jewels, Krishna's feet became red like copper. And purport, it is described there that actually Krishna, he grabbed the heads of Kalia and he pushed it down, forced it to bow down, and he climbed on it. In this world, materialistic people, they don't want to bow down in front of the Lord. But in the form of time, everybody has to bow down in front of the Lord, whether we like it or don't like it. Time is the greatest subduer. Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravriddho. In the form of time, Krishna destroys everything. So therefore, devotees of the Lord, they are not fearful of time. Materialistic people, they are fearful of time. When years pass by, they became afraid. Oh, now we are becoming old. Now we'll not be able to enjoy. But devotees, they don't become fearful. Ayuraharti vaipamsam uddyamastan tasyarte yashanau nitau uttama shloka vartaya. With every rising and setting of the sun, the life duration of a materialist is decreasing. But a devotee, he is coming one day close to the spiritual life. He is not disturbed, he is not fearful. So Krishna, he wanted to have an extraordinary demonstration of dance. He began to dance, showing all his artistic skills. Generally, if the stage is stable, stationary, it is not so difficult to dance for a dancer. But if the stage is not proper, uneven, the dancer will not be able to dance properly. What to speak of this stage? The heads of Kalia, they were moving violently, trying to bite Krishna. But Krishna was very expertly maneuvering, moving in such a way that he was landing on the heads of Kalia every time he would jump. And when Lord started dancing, who is this Lord? He's Akhil Loka Guru, Akhil Kaladi Guru. All the Devtas, Gandharvas, Charanas, Siddhas, all the sages, they came to assist the Lord. Okay, Lord is dancing. Somebody should be there to play instruments. Somebody should sing. Because when there is a singing and music, then dancing becomes more pleasurable. So all the devatas, all these gandharvas, they brought their instruments, they started dancing. Apsaras also were dancing, and it was wonderful event. With great pleasure, they brought all their mridangas and panavakas and various types of instruments. They started playing. And Krishna, he was dancing in such a way that nobody had seen such dance. Why Krishna was dancing? One of the very important reasons was now Krishna had started, you know, playing all the leelas with the young damsels of Brindavan. So with all these dancing, he wanted to attract their attention. He wanted to attract their mind. He wanted to impress them. So that's why he was dancing in such a wonderful way. All the devtas, they were showering flowers and they were singing, they were praying the glories, they were glorifying the Supreme Lord in choicest prayers. Krishna, as he danced, all the Brajvasis, when they saw this scene, they came back to life. Oh, Krishna is dancing, he's still there. For Kalia, the feet, lotus feet of Krishna, it was not, he was not feeling like soft flower petal. Krishna, he is kusumadi komal, kusumadapi komal, vajradapi kathor. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. Whoever goes to Krishna in whatever mood, Krishna accepts that mood and reciprocates with him accordingly. So this Kalia, because he was envious, for him, the soft lotus feet of Krishna, they were like thunderbolts. Krishna had 1,000 hoods, and out of those 1,000, he had 101 prominent hoods. And every time Kalia would raise one of his hoods, Krishna would jump on that, start dancing on that. He would smash that hood by striking with his feet. And Kalia, for him, it was unbearable pain. As Kalia was coming close to his death, he began, you know, feeling that intense pain. His head started reeling. He started becoming unconscious. So far, he was emitting poison. Now, because of the constant uh, uh, dancing of the Supreme Lord, all the poison got exhausted. And then blood started coming out of his mouth and his nostrils. And because of this, Kalia felt intense pain and misery. Every time Kalia would raise one hood, Krishna would subdue it by dancing on it. And in this way, Krishna completely subdued all the 1,000 hoods of Kalia. When demigods they saw this, they all became so very joyful because for this Kalia, he was very, very powerful demon. Even Devatas were fearful of Kalia. Yes. So when they saw this Kalia getting destroyed, all Devatas they started showering flowers, they started offering prayers to Krishna. When the wives of the Kalia they saw their husband in this situation, he was so very fatigued, he was just about to die. For Kalia, he was not able to bear the weight of Krishna. And seeing the facial expressions, the ladies, they understood that now our husband has surrendered. Previously, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Kalia's wives, they were so very disgusted with their demoniac husband. When Krishna started dancing on the hoods of Kalia, they were thinking it is such a great thing that this our husband is being smashed by Krishna. Krishna is Supreme Lord. Let him die. He will attain a better destination. We will also perform bhakti. But now, when these wives they saw that oh, our husband has become repentant, just by seeing the facial expressions and the bodily movements, the wives could understand. Now our husband has become a Vaishnava. It is our duty to protect our husband now. So with these thoughts in the mind, you know, they saw that oh, this Kalia is manifesting feelings of humility, remorseness, He is feeling so very ashamed. So therefore they went and approached Krishna. They were thinking, oh, just see how fortunate we are. Our husband has become a Vaishnava. Now we will endeavor our best to protect him. So their minds were very much disturbed, keeping their small children in front of them. They approached Krishna so that Krishna may become more merciful when he would see the small children. So they came and they fell flat on the ground. So somebody may say, where is the ground? Actually, there was an island in between this lake, in the middle of this lake. And Krishna had caught hold of Kalia on this island. So all the wives, they went and they fell flat in front on the ground, and they started offering prayers with a desire for liberation of their husband. And the Nagpatnis, first of all, they praise Krishna. Oh Krishna, whatever you have done is perfect. Rightly you have punished our husband. It is certainly just for him to be punished in this way. After all, you have incarnated in this world to destroy the demons. And our husband, he was such a demon. He is rightly punished by you. And you are never partial. You don't discriminate between your sons and the sons of others. When Prahlad, who was born in a family of demon, when his father, he tried to kill him, you protected him. And when your son Narkasur, he became demoniac, you killed your son. So therefore you are impartial. And therefore, actually, whatever you have given, whatever punishment you have given to this Kalia, this is a mercy on us. The punishment is actually mercy, because if you punish anyone, that person becomes free of all the contamination. And our husband, he was so very sinful. By punishing him, you have given him your mercy. He was so very sinful. He was in the body of a serpent. And then they are thinking, he must have done some austerities in the past. Tapastu sutaptam kimanena purvam nirastamanena chamanadena dharmothva sarva jananukampaya yato bhavam tushyati sarva jivaha. So they are telling, Arey, this Kalia, he must have performed lots of austerities in the past. Tapa sutaptam, बहुत तपस्या किया रहेगा इसने. And what else? Nirastamane nachamanadena. And what was his mindset when he was doing his tapasya? He was giving respect to everyone, and he was not expecting any respect for himself. Lord may say, okay, but I am not pleased with all this austerity and all these other things. Then the wives, they say, no, he must have shown some mercy to living entities. Jananukampaya, that may be pleasing to you. That's maybe the reason you are so very pleased. Tushyati sarva jiva. Because when the living entities are pleased, when living entities are served, you are also pleased. And then after saying this, they understood. They come to the conclusion, actually, it is neither tapasya, neither dharmic activities. It is unalloyed mercy of the Lord. And they say two very beautiful verses. कस्यानुभावोऽस्य न देव विद्महे तवाङ्घ्रिरेणुं स्पर्शाधिकारः यद्वाञ्छया श्रीललनाचरत्तपो विहाय कामान् सुचिरं धृतव्रताः. कस्यानुभावोऽस्य न देव विद्महे. We are not able to understand what austerities, what a wonderful opportunity this serpent has got. What is the opportunity? Are Tavangri Renu Sparshadikara. He has got a chance to have the dust of your lotus feet on his head. What is such glorious thing about my dust? Are yad vanchaya Shri Lalana charat tapo. Lakshmi Devi is doing tapasya to get this dust. She has given up all her opulences and she is taking all the austerities and severe vows just to get the dust of your lotus feet. She is not able to get, and you and this serpent has got this. कुछ तो अच्छा किया रहेगा. What is the wonderful bhagya? It is only by your mercy. But what is the great result one will achieve by getting my lotus feet, my dust? What is the big thing in that? The Nagpatni, they say, actually, you cannot say this. Nothing is greater than the dust of your lotus feet. We don't want anything of this world. Nanakaprishtham nacha sarvabhaumam न पारमेष्ठ्यम न रसाधिपत्यम न योग सिद्धिर पुनर्भवम वा वांछन्ति यत्पाद रज प्रपन्नाः. We do not want even the position of the king of heaven. Nanaka prishtam nacha sarvabhaumam. I do not want sovereignty over entire earth. Na parameshtyam. I don't want the position of Brahma. Narasadhipatyam. I don't want the position of lower, all the controller and the proprietor of the lower planetary systems. We do not want any of the yoga siddhis also. What to speak of all these? We do not want even liberation. Then what do you want? Vanchanti yat padaraja prapannaha. We just want the dust of your lotus feet. Because those who have attained the dust of your lotus feet, they are unlimitedly fortunate. Although we are born of ignorance, this Kalia, he is full of anger, but still he achieved what is impossible. It is impossible for embodied soul to get this mercy. That is a mercy you have given to this Kalia. And then after this, they offer obeisances they bow down to the Lord. In next 10 verses, 11 times they say, Namah Tubhyam, Namah, Namah, Namah. Namah Tubhyam Bhagavate Purushaya Mahatmane, Bhutavasaya Bhutaya Paraya Paramatmane. We offer our obeisances unto you. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purushaya Mahatmane, you are there in the hearts of everyone as Super Soul. Bhutavasaya Bhutaya, you are the original shelter of all the living entities. You are Jnana Vijnana Nidhaye. You are the reservoir of the transcendental knowledge. You are the Brahmane Ananta Shakti. You are the reservoir of unlimited potencies. You are beyond this material modes. You are the prime source of this material manifestation. You are the shelter of time. Kalaya, Kalanabhaya, Kalavatarya, Kalavayava Shakshine. You are the witness of all the time. In this way, they keep glorifying the Lord. They say, you are the ultimate soul of all the cosmic manifestation. You are the ultimate shelter of all the devotees. You are the one who reconciles the opposing views. You are the one who upholds all the ideas. You are Ram. You are Krishna. Namah Krishnaya Ramaya Vasudeva Sutaya Cha Pradyumnaya Naruddhaya Satvatam Pataye Namah. You are Krishna, you are Ram, you are Pradyumna, Niruddha, Vasudeva Sutta, the son of Vasudeva. You are the protector of your devotees. In this way they are glorifying. You are not affected by the modes of material nature. You are the one who is the master of all the saintly devotees. You are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. Simply by your glance, you execute all your actions. You don't have to do it personally. And then they say, Krishna may say, okay, what is the intention? What is the intention of all your praises? What do you want? So Nagpatnis, they offer prayer. They say, oh my Lord, You are the maintainer of entire creation. You have given material bodies which are in different modes, in the mode of passion, goodness, and ignorance. We are having this body of mode of ignorance. You maintain everyone, you protect everyone, then why are you killing our husband? That is their thought process going on. And then they say, please, O Krishna, please tolerate the offense of Kalia. If Kalia harasses you again, then you are not obliged to forgive. But this time, at least once, master should tolerate the offense of the subordinate once. You are the supreme master. Please tolerate this offense which our husband has done. Krishna may say, I have diagnosed the disease of your husband and I have given the treatment also. He is cured now, but thoda bacha hai, little bit remnants of the disease is remaining. Let me wipe out the remnants by stamping on his head 7 8 times more, and please permit me this. The ladies, the Nagpatni, they say, Arey, he is about to die, please be merciful. Mar jayega wo. He'll die. It is proper for saintly people to feel compassion for women like us. He's on the verge of death, he's about to give up life, please give back our husband. And then he says, then Krishna may say, Arey, what does it matter if he gives up the snake body? What is the matter? What is the problem? What can he do with this body? I will give him a spiritual body. In that body, he can serve better as my devotee. The Nagpatnis, they say, Arey, if he dies, what will happen? When a beautiful woman become widow, he will be exploited by other men. Then what we'll have to do, we'll have to live with other sinful snakes. They will forcibly capture us. And our husband, he has become a devotee, he has become a Vaishnava. Please allow us to stay with him. Krishna will say, okay, then take your husband. I'll give you your husband. But I have one order. So Nagpatni says, Arey, please tell us, Jo bolenge, we are ready to do. You tell us what to do. Because we will follow your order, because whoever follows your order, he becomes free from all the fear. So Krishna gives an order. So Shukdev Goswami says then, he tells that now after being praised by the Nagpatnis, Krishna, he released Kalia. He jumped off of the hoods of Kalia and stood in front of the Kalia and the Nagpatnis. Kalia, he regained his vital force again. He was practically unconscious. Slowly he came back to consciousness. He started realizing what was happening. And then he started offering prayers. Our acharyas, they say that actually the prayers which Kalia is offering, it is almost the same prayer which the Nagpatnis have offered. But because Kalia in such a situation he cannot think of, so just he is repeating whatever he has heard. So he says, oh my lord, please forgive me, because even learned people, they commit mistakes, and I am born in a body of snake. Snakes by nature, they are envious. You have only created all these living species. You have created all the species, you have given the strength, the various sensory powers to everybody, and only by your mercy I can come out of this material illusion. So please forgive me, please give your mercy. Because among all the living entities, serpents are most angry. And out of my foolishness, I have become angry on you. Now, only if you show mercy, I can give up this anger. You can give anything. So please kindly show your mercy and free me of this ignorance. You are most, you are omniscient Lord of the entire universe. You know everything. You are the cause of freedom. So please free me from this ignorance. So Shukdev Goswami then he says that after Kalia, he requested the Lord in this way. Supreme Lord, he replied, Krishna replied, O Kalia, You should not remain here any longer. Because of your presence, this entire Yamuna has become polluted. Go back to your ocean immediately so that the residents of Brindavan, the cows and the animals of Brindavan, they can enjoy this river. Let this river be enjoyed by them. When Krishna he gave this order, immediately Kalia he prepares to leave. Krishna says that any mortal who attentively remembers my instructions to you and he hears this pastime in the morning and the evening, he will not be having any fear of you. And then Krishna says that if one bathes in this place of my pastimes, offers water of this lake to the devatas, and if one observes fast, duly he performs the fasting, remembers me on this in this place, he for sure will become free from all the sinful activities. It tells, "O Kali, out of fear of Garuda, you left Ramanaka island and you came here with your family. Now please know that you don't have any fear of Garuda. You go back. Now Garuda will not trouble you." So Shukdev Goswami says that after this, Kalia, he joined his wives and he offered respects to the Lord, worshipped the Lord with great joy, circumambulated the Lord, and he worshipped the Lord very wonderfully. He offered lots of jewels, wonderful garments. He put sandalwood. Actually, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Kali, I was thinking, oh my Lord, I have troubled you a lot with my fiery poison. I have troubled you. Your body must be feeling very hot. I want to put chandan, sandalwood on your body. Krishna may say, but that will take time. So Kali says, don't worry. You please sit. So he makes Krishna sit down, and all the wives of Kalia and Kalia, they put chandan, sandalwood paste on the body of Krishna. And then as Krishna, he was fighting with Kalia, his Kaustubh gem had fallen in the river. So when all these wives, they were, and Krishna and Kalia, they were making presentations, they brought this Kaustubh gem again and they thought, oh, this was our jewel. So they gave that back to Krishna. And in this way, Kalia became very satisfied. And because Kalia was still having lots of pain, Krishna placed his hand on Kalia's head, and all his pain was removed. Kalia felt very happy and satisfied by serving the Lord, worshipping the Lord, and he told, "Oh Krishna, you are the rider of Garuda. You are Garuda Dwaja. You are rider of Garuda, but now I am your servant. And I am the younger brother of Garuda. So please call me anytime." He says that when Garuda is far away and you need a vehicle, you call me. I will come. Although I am going millions of yojanas away, I'll come immediately. You just call me. In this way, Kalia, he offered obeisances and he circumambulated the Lord and he left with his family for Ramanaka island. And as Kalia left, Krishna, by his inconceivable power, he made the waters of Yamuna very crystal clear, pure, and he revived all the vegetation around. He revived the cowherd boys and the cows, and all this happened by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So this is the end of the chapter. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. So if anybody has any questions, you can please ask. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.